There's a simple decision that can quietly cost you over $100,000 in retirement. And the surprising part is, most people make it without even realizing it. In fact, there's a very good chance it's already part of your plan. If you ask most people when they plan to take Social Security, you'll hear the same answer almost every time: as soon as I can. And honestly, that answer makes sense. You've worked for decades, paid into the system your entire life, and when you finally reach the point where you can start collecting, it feels like you've earned it. It feels like a reward, like it's time to stop waiting and start getting something back. But this is where things start to get a little misleading. Because the age you choose to start Social Security doesn't just affect when you get paid, it affects how much you get paid every single month for the rest of your life. And that's where the mistake begins. Not because people are careless, but because they don't fully understand how permanent this decision is. Once you choose your start date, that benefit amount is essentially locked in. There's no reset button. There's no easy way to go back and say, actually, I'd like to change that decision. And because of that, even small differences at the beginning can turn into very large differences over time. If you take benefits early, around age 62, your monthly payment is permanently reduced, not temporarily, not slightly, permanently. And that reduction isn't trivial. It can impact how comfortable you feel each month, how flexible you are with your spending, and how much margin you have when something unexpected comes up. On the other hand, if you wait, your benefit increases each year you delay, up until around age 70. And those increases add up. Year after year, they quietly build into a much larger monthly payment. It doesn't feel dramatic in the moment, but over time, it becomes very real. Now, at this point, a lot of people think, okay, but if I take it early, I'll just get more checks. And that's true. You do get more checks, but they're smaller. If you wait, you get fewer checks, but each one is significantly larger. And this is where that $100,000 mistake starts to show up. Because over time, that difference compounds. Not in a way that feels obvious right away, but in a way that becomes more noticeable year after year. Month after month, that gap grows. Until eventually, you realize the total difference between those two choices is much bigger than you expected. Sometimes it's tens of thousands of dollars. Sometimes it's well over $100,000. But here's where it gets tricky. This decision isn't just about math, it's about behavior. Most people don't make this decision based on long-term value. They make it based on what feels right in the moment. Maybe they're tired of working, maybe they're burned out, maybe they just want income coming in, even if they don't actually need it yet. Or maybe they assume they won't live long enough for it to matter. And that's something a lot of people think about, even if they don't say it out loud. But here's the problem with that thinking. You don't actually know how long you're going to live. And when you make a permanent financial decision based on an uncertain assumption, you're taking a risk that's easy to underestimate. And this is something I wish I understood earlier. This decision isn't about getting your money back. It's about protecting your future income. Because Social Security is one of the few sources of income in retirement that is guaranteed. It doesn't depend on the market. It doesn't depend on your investments. It doesn't depend on timing. It shows up every single month. And that makes it incredibly valuable. So the real question isn't, how soon can I take it? The real question is, how do I make this as strong as possible? Because if you start early, you lock in a smaller guaranteed income. If you wait, you lock in a larger one. And that difference follows you for the rest of your life. There's something called a break-even point. It's the age where waiting starts to pay off more than claiming early. And for many people, that age falls somewhere in their late 70s or early 80s. So if you live beyond that point, waiting usually results in more total income. And here's what's important. More and more people are living beyond that point. Longevity is increasing. People are living longer, healthier lives, which means the odds of benefiting from waiting are higher than they used to be. This isn't a rare outcome anymore. It's becoming more common. Now there's another layer to this that often gets overlooked, and that's your spouse. If you're married, your Social Security decision doesn't just affect you, it affects them too. Because in many cases, the higher benefit continues for the surviving spouse. Which means waiting isn't just about maximizing your income, it's about protecting theirs as well. And that changes the decision quite a bit. It turns it from an individual choice into a shared long-term strategy. And yet, this is one of the fastest decisions people make. Almost automatic. Take it early, start getting paid, move on. But simple doesn't always mean better. And in this case, it can be surprisingly expensive. This isn't just a timing decision, it's a strategy decision. And small decisions like this can have a much bigger impact than people expect. That's what makes this one so important to get right. So the takeaway is simple. The earlier you take Social Security, the less you receive each month for life. And depending on your situation, that difference can be significant. If you're within 5 to 10 years of retirement, this is exactly the kind of decision worth slowing down and thinking through. Because once you make it, you don't really get to undo it. And if you want more insights like this, the kind of things people don't usually find out until it's too late, subscribe. I'll walk you through what I wish I knew so you can make smarter decisions now instead of learning them the hard way.